Did your grandmother have beauty secrets that seemed absolutely crazy but somehow always worked? Those simple jars on her vanity held wisdom we're only now rediscovering. Today we're exploring 25 of Grandma's beauty hacks. Do you remember watching your grandmother work her magic in the kitchen? And I'm not just talking about her famous recipes. Before drugstore aisles overflowed with creams and serums promising miracles in a bottle, women had a different kind of beauty secret. They had wisdom passed down from their mothers, their grandmothers, and their great-grandmothers before them. Back in 1940, the average American woman spent just $25 a year on beauty products. That's about $540 in today's money. And you know what? Their skin often looked just as radiant as anything we see today. They relied on what they had right there in their kitchens and gardens. Simple ingredients like honey, oatmeal, and oils weren't just for cooking. They were the foundation of an entire beauty routine that actually worked. Then something changed. By 1960, spending on commercial beauty products had tripled as manufacturers convinced women they needed fancy formulas with scientific-sounding names. But here's the remarkable thing. Even as those shiny new products filled bathroom shelves across America, so many women kept their grandmother's handwritten recipes tucked away in recipe boxes and kitchen drawers. They knew something the advertisers didn't want them to believe. These old remedies survived generation after generation because they genuinely delivered results. Now here's what's truly fascinating. Modern dermatology and scientific research have caught up with what our grandmothers knew all along. Those kitchen cabinet beauty treatments weren't just old wives' tales. Scientists can now explain exactly why honey hydrates skin so beautifully, why oatmeal calms irritation, and why certain oils work better than expensive creams. Our grandmothers didn't need the scientific explanation. They just knew it worked. Today we're exploring 25 of the very best grandmother-approved beauty secrets that still work wonders. These are the remedies that stood the test of time, the ones your mother or grandmother swore by. How many of these do you remember seeing in your own family? I bet more than a few will bring back some wonderful memories. Let's start with one of the most beloved and effective of all grandmother's beauty secrets. Let's talk about the honey face mask first, because this one is truly remarkable. Raw honey isn't just something sweet you put in your tea. It contains over 200 natural compounds, including enzymes, amino acids, and powerful antioxidants. When Grandma smoothed that golden honey across her cheeks and forehead, she was applying one of nature's most sophisticated humectants. Now that's a fancy word that simply means honey pulls moisture from the air and locks it into your skin. The result was that beautiful, dewy glow she always seemed to have. Grandmothers across America would apply a thin layer of raw honey, let it sit for 15 or 20 minutes while they did their housework, then rinse it off with warm water. Their skin would feel softer, look plumper, and have that lit from within radiance that no expensive cream could quite replicate. The ancient Egyptians knew this secret too. Cleopatra herself was famous for her elaborate beauty rituals, and honey played a starring role. Grandma might not have known she was following in the footsteps of queens, but she certainly got the same results. Oatmeal soaks were another staple in Grandma's beauty arsenal, especially when skin got irritated or itchy. Before there were fancy anti-itch creams and prescription treatments, there was a simple bowl of oatmeal. Colloidal oatmeal, which is just oatmeal ground into a superfine powder, has this amazing ability to calm angry skin. If you had poison ivy, a sunburn, chicken pox, or just dry winter skin that wouldn't stop itching, Grandma would draw a warm bath and pour in that oatmeal mixture. The relief was almost immediate. Science now tells us that oatmeal contains compounds called avenanthramides that reduce inflammation and redness naturally. It also creates a protective barrier on the skin that locks in moisture and keeps irritants out. The FDA actually recognizes colloidal oatmeal as a skin protectant now. But grandmothers didn't need government approval to know it worked. They'd been soothing cranky skin and calming rashes for generations with nothing more than breakfast cereal and warm water. Then there was the milk cleanse. This one might sound strange to younger folks, but milk as a facial cleanser was absolutely common in Grandma's day. The secret ingredient is lactic acid, which Swedish chemist Carl Wilhelm Scheele first identified way back in 1780. But grandmothers had been using milk compresses for centuries before science caught up with an explanation. Lactic acid is what we now call an alpha-hydroxy acid, and it provides incredibly gentle chemical exfoliation. That means it dissolves the bonds between dead skin cells so they slip away easily, revealing fresher and brighter skin underneath. Grandma would simply soak a soft cloth in whole milk, press it against her face for a few minutes, then rinse clean. It was like a mild facial peel, using nothing but something from the refrigerator. Cleopatra famously bathed in milk, and grandmothers unknowingly followed her lead. They might have used a washcloth instead of a marble tub, but the principle was exactly the same. Finally, we come to the egg white pore tightener. This treatment looked absolutely bizarre if you walked in on someone doing it. Grandma would separate egg whites from the yolks, whisk them up slightly, and paint them directly onto her face. As the egg white dried, it would tighten and pull the skin taut. When she peeled or rinsed it off, her pores looked visibly smaller and her face appeared firmer. The science here is straightforward. The proteins in egg whites create a temporary tightening effect as they dry. Blood flow increases to the area, which brings a healthy flush. The albumin in the whites also has a mild astringent quality that makes pores temporarily contract. Now, this effect doesn't last forever, maybe a few hours at most, but Grandma knew exactly when to apply her egg white mask. Right before church, before a special dinner, or whenever she wanted to look her absolute best. Now that we've covered these facial treatments, let's move to the delicate eye area where Grandma had some clever tricks up her sleeve. The eye area has always held a special place in grandmother's beauty wisdom, and for good reason. This delicate skin around our eyes is thinner than anywhere else on the face, making it the first place to show signs of fatigue, aging, and stress. Grandma knew this instinctively, and she had an arsenal of simple tricks that worked wonders without costing a fortune. Cold spoon under eyes. There's something almost magical about the cold spoon trick, and if you grew up watching your grandmother or mother press chilled spoons against her under-eye area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This wasn't some fancy spa treatment or expensive cream. It was just a couple of ordinary teaspoons pulled straight from the freezer, yet the results could be remarkable. The science behind this is actually quite straightforward. When you apply something cold to the skin around your eyes, it causes the blood vessels underneath to constrict. This constriction reduces the amount of fluid that can pool in the tissues, which is exactly what causes that puffy, tired look we all dread seeing in the mirror first thing in the morning. Grandmothers across America kept spoons in the freezer specifically for this purpose, treating them like precious beauty tools even though they cost nothing at all. The metal conducted the cold beautifully, maintaining that chill long enough to make a real difference. Some women would use the backs of the spoons, gently pressing and rolling them along the orbital bone, while others preferred to simply hold them in place for a minute or two on each side. Either way, the effect was the same. Puffy eyes would calm down, that swollen morning look would diminish, and faces would appear more refreshed and alert. It was particularly useful before special occasions when looking your best really mattered. The cold spoon trick remains one of those timeless remedies that modern dermatologists actually endorse, proving that grandmother really did know what she was talking about all along. Cucumber slices for eyes. Now, speaking of eye treatments, we simply cannot overlook the iconic image of a woman relaxing with cucumber slices resting on her closed eyes. This image has become synonymous with pampering and self-care, but its origins go back much further than most people realize. The ancient Romans actually used cucumber poultices for various skin concerns, understanding even then that this humble vegetable had special soothing properties. By the 1930s, Hollywood starlets had embraced cucumber slices as an essential part of their beauty routine between filming scenes. Those bright studio lights were harsh and unforgiving, leaving actresses with tired, strained eyes. Cucumber slices became their secret weapon for quick refreshment. The cooling hydration they provided helped reduce swelling and that fatigued appearance that cameras were all too eager to capture. But what makes cucumbers so effective for the eye area specifically? Well, cucumbers are about 95% water, making them incredibly hydrating. When chilled, they provide that same blood vessel constricting benefit as the cold spoons, but with added moisture that absorbs into the skin. They also contain compounds that have mild anti-inflammatory properties, helping to calm any irritation or redness. Grandma might not have known the exact science, but she knew the results. Lying down for 15 minutes with cool cucumber slices on your eyes was a small luxury that delivered genuine benefits. It forced you to rest, to close your eyes, to take a break from the constant demands of running a household. In some ways, the relaxation itself was as valuable as the cucumbers. That combination of physical cooling, gentle hydration, and forced stillness created results that expensive eye creams often struggle to match. Petroleum Jelly Eye Seal. The third gem in Grandmother's eye care routine involves one of the most versatile products ever discovered. Petroleum jelly was first identified back in 1859 by Robert Chesbrough, who noticed it forming on oil rig equipment in Pennsylvania. He recognized its potential immediately and began refining and marketing it as a healing ointment. By the 1920s, grandmothers everywhere had discovered another use for this miraculous substance. They were dabbing it carefully around their eyes before bed, using it as an overnight treatment for fine lines and dryness. The principle behind this is something scientists call occlusion. When you apply petroleum jelly to skin, it creates a protective barrier that prevents moisture from escaping. The skin around our eyes, being so thin and delicate, loses moisture faster than other areas of the face. This moisture loss contributes significantly to the appearance of fine lines and that crepey texture that bothers so many of us as we age. By sealing in the skin's natural hydration overnight, petroleum jelly allows the delicate eye area to plump up slightly, softening the appearance of those fine dryness lines. Grandmothers applied just a tiny amount, using their ring fingers because that finger naturally applies the least pressure, perfect for such sensitive skin. They would pat it gently along the orbital bone, never pulling or tugging. The results after a night of this treatment were often quite impressive, with eyes looking more rested and the surrounding skin appearing smoother and more supple. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, a like and subscribe truly helps us continue making these videos for you. We really appreciate it. The delicate eye area held such importance in Grandmother's beauty routine because she understood something profound. Our eyes communicate so much about how we feel, how rested we are, and how we're aging. Apple cider vinegar, hair rinse. There's a good chance you remember that distinctive sharp smell wafting from the bathroom when your grandmother or mother was doing her hair. That unmistakable scent of apple cider vinegar. Now, if you'd asked her why she was pouring vinegar on her head, she would have told you it made her hair shine like nothing else could. And you know what? She was absolutely right. The science behind this old-fashioned beauty secret is actually quite elegant. Your hair has tiny overlapping scales along each strand called cuticles. When those cuticles lie flat and smooth, light bounces off them evenly, giving your hair that gorgeous glossy shine we all want. When they're rough and raised, hair looks dull and feels tangled. Apple cider vinegar, when properly diluted with water, has just the right acidity to smooth those cuticles right down. Grandmothers would typically mix about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar into a cup of cool water and use it as a final rinse after shampooing. They'd pour it through their hair, let it sit for just a minute or two, then rinse it out with cool water. The result was hair so shiny you could practically see your reflection in it. And that vinegar smell? It disappeared completely once the hair dried. Hard to believe, right? But it worked then, and it still works today. Rice water hair rinse. Now here's one that grandmothers across America stumbled upon, but it actually has roots going back over 1,000 years. In Japan, during the Heian period from about 794 to 1185 AD, court ladies were famous for their absolutely stunning floor-length hair. Their secret? Rice water. The starchy liquid left behind after rinsing or soaking rice was treasured as a hair treatment that added incredible slip and shine to every strand. American grandmothers discovered this same wisdom in their own kitchens. After all, rice was a common staple, and that cloudy water left in the pot seemed too useful to just pour down the drain. The starches and proteins in rice water coat each hair strand, adding body and making hair feel silkier than ever. Some grandmothers would simply save the water from rinsing their rice before cooking. Others would let rice soak in water for 30 minutes, then strain it and use that milky liquid as a hair treatment. Either way, they were tapping into ancient beauty wisdom without even knowing it. They'd massage it into their hair and scalp, leave it on for 15 to 20 minutes, then rinse it away. The results spoke for themselves in hair that was stronger, shinier, and so much easier to manage. Castor oil brow conditioning. Remember opening your grandmother's medicine cabinet and seeing that bottle of castor oil. That thick, viscous oil had been a household staple since the 1800s, primarily known as a remedy for digestive troubles. But clever grandmothers discovered it had another remarkable use. They noticed that dabbing a tiny bit of castor oil on their eyebrows and eyelashes seemed to make them look fuller and healthier over time. The oil is incredibly thick and rich, packed with fatty acids that condition and moisturize each tiny hair. Grandmothers would take a clean finger or a small brush, dip it in castor oil, and carefully apply it to their brows before bed. Night after night, this simple ritual conditioned those brow hairs, making them appear thicker and more lustrous. There's even a story that Brooke Shields' mother used this very technique back in the 1970s to help cultivate those famous bold brows that became Brooke's signature look. Whether that's true or not, generations of women swore by this method. The oil created a protective coating on each hair while delivering deep moisture that prevented breakage. Thin, sparse brows seemed to fill in over time, all from something that cost just pennies. Avocado hair mask. If your grandmother lived somewhere, avocados were plentiful. She probably knew this secret too. A ripe avocado, mashed up and worked through dry, damaged hair, could transform it from straw-like and brittle to soft and manageable in just one treatment. Avocados are loaded with natural fatty acids and oils that penetrate the hair shaft in ways that many commercial products simply cannot match. Grandmothers would take one ripe avocado, mash it thoroughly until smooth, and sometimes mix in a little olive oil or honey for extra conditioning power. They'd work this creamy mixture through damp hair, concentrating on the ends where damage tends to be worst, then cover their hair with a shower cap or warm towel. After 20 to 30 minutes, they'd rinse it all out and shampoo as usual. The transformation was remarkable. Hair that had been dry and prone to breaking would feel incredibly soft and look noticeably healthier. Those natural oils smoothed the hair cuticle and provided deep moisture that lasted for days. Think about that. No expensive salon treatments, no complicated chemicals, just a piece of fruit doing what nature intended. Which of these hair remedies do you remember your grandmother using? I'd love to hear your memories in the comments. Beautiful hair needs a healthy scalp, and Grandma had solutions for that too, along with some clever quick fixes that might surprise you. Now, let's talk about some of Grandma's quick fixes for those everyday beauty emergencies. You know the ones I mean. Those moments when you needed a solution fast and the stores were closed, or you simply didn't have time to run out. Our grandmothers were absolute masters at handling these situations with whatever they had in the pantry. Cornstarch dry shampoo. Here's something fascinating. During World War II, when beauty products were scarce and rationing was a way of life, American women discovered that plain old cornstarch could work wonders on oily hair. They didn't have the luxury of washing their hair every day, and honestly, most women didn't want to. Setting and styling hair took hours back then. So what did they do? They reached for the cornstarch. A little dusting at the roots, a good brush through, and suddenly that greasy look disappeared. The cornstarch absorbed all that excess oil from the scalp without needing a single drop of water. Some clever women even mixed in a bit of cocoa powder if they had darker hair, so it wouldn't leave any white residue. Isn't that brilliant? And here's the thing. This hack has made a major comeback today. Those fancy dry shampoos you see at the store, they're essentially doing the same thing Grandma figured out 80 years ago. She just didn't have to pay $15 for it. Next time you're in a pinch and need to stretch another day between washes, remember that box of cornstarch in your kitchen. It's been saving hair days since the 1940s. Sugar and oil lip scrub. Now let's talk about something that probably brings back sweet memories. Grandma's sugar scrub for the lips. There's nothing worse than dry, flaky lips, especially in winter. Lipstick doesn't go on smoothly, and no amount of balm seems to help when you've got all that dead skin built up. Grandma knew exactly what to do. She'd mix a little bit of sugar with some olive oil or sometimes honey, and she'd create this gentle scrub right there in her kitchen. You'd take a tiny bit on your finger, rub it gently over your lips in small circles, and that mild physical exfoliation would smooth away all those flaky patches. The sugar crystals did the work of removing the dead skin, while the oil kept everything moisturized so you weren't left feeling raw. After rinsing it off, your lips would feel incredibly soft and smooth. The key was using it sparingly and being gentle. Grandma always said you didn't need to scrub hard. Just a light touch would do the trick. It's such a simple recipe, but it works beautifully every single time. Aloe vera soothing gel. Do you remember seeing an aloe vera plant on Grandma's windowsill? Almost every grandmother I knew had one growing in her kitchen. That spiky green plant wasn't just for decoration. It was her first aid kit for the skin. Whenever you had a minor sunburn, a small irritation, or just dry patches that needed some relief, Grandma would snap off a leaf and squeeze out that cool, clear gel inside. The relief was almost instant. Aloe has this wonderful ability to calm irritation and provide lightweight hydration without feeling heavy or greasy on the skin. It was perfect for summer when you'd come inside after playing in the sun all day. Grandma would smooth some of that gel on your pink shoulders, and it felt like heaven. She used it on her own face, too, as a simple moisturizer when her skin felt sensitive. The plant just kept growing and providing year after year. Many families passed aloe plants down through generations. There's something beautiful about that, don't you think? Rosewater toner. Speaking of things passed down through generations, let me tell you about rosewater. This lovely beauty treatment has been used since ancient Persia, and by the Victorian era, every proper lady had a bottle of rosewater sitting on her vanity table. Grandma learned about it from her mother, who learned from hers. It's lightly astringent, which means it helps tighten and refresh the skin without being harsh. After washing her face, Grandma would splash a little rose water on or dab it with a cotton ball, and it would leave her skin feeling balanced and refreshed. It smelled absolutely divine, too. That delicate rose scent was part of the ritual, part of the pleasure. Rose water was simple, natural, and elegant. It didn't promise miracles, but it delivered a lovely, clean feeling every single time. Olive oil makeup remover. In the 1950s, when dramatic makeup was all the rage, Italian grandmothers had a secret for removing all that heavy eye makeup and lipstick. Olive oil. That's right. The same oil they used for cooking their famous recipes also took care of their beauty routine. Oils dissolve makeup incredibly effectively without stripping all the moisture from your skin. Grandma would put a little olive oil on a cotton pad, press it gently against her closed eyes for a moment, and then wipe away. Even the most stubborn mascara came right off. Her skin felt soft afterward, never dry or tight like it might with harsh removers. It's such a gentle approach. Baking soda nail brightener. Finally, Grandma had a trick for keeping her nails looking bright and clean. A little baking soda mixed with water created a paste that could gently scrub away surface stains. The mild abrasion would lift discoloration when used rarely, leaving nails looking fresh and healthy. Share in the comments which of these quick fixes saved the day for you or your grandmother. We've covered so many wonderful remedies, but Grandma had a few more secrets for relaxation and self-care that you're going to love. Among these 25 beauty hacks, which one surprised you the most? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Chamomile tea compress. There's something almost magical about chamomile, and grandmothers everywhere seem to understand this centuries before science caught up. This humble little flower, with its cheerful white petals and sunny yellow center, has been soothing human ailments for over 5,000 years. The ancient Egyptians were so enamored with chamomile that they dedicated it to their sun god, believing it possessed divine healing powers. And honestly, when you've experienced the gentle relief of a chamomile compress on irritated skin, you might just believe they were onto something. Epsom salt foot soak. Now here's a remedy with a fascinating history. Epsom salt was discovered in Epsom, England, way back in 1618 when a farmer noticed something peculiar. His cows absolutely refused to drink from a certain spring on his property. Curious, he investigated and found the water tasted bitter. But that bitter water turned out to have remarkable healing properties that would make Epsom famous worldwide. By the 1920s, Epsom salt baths had become a weekly ritual in American households, and the best part was they cost practically nothing, just pennies for a treatment that felt absolutely luxurious. Grandma knew that after a long day of housework, gardening, or chasing grandchildren, there was nothing quite like soaking tired feet in warm water dissolved with Epsom salt. The magnesium sulfate would work its magic, softening those stubborn calluses that developed from walking barefoot in summer or wearing sensible shoes all day. Your feet would emerge feeling baby soft. But it wasn't just about softer feet. The magnesium absorbed through your skin actually helped relax tense muscles throughout your entire body. Grandma understood that taking care of your feet was taking care of yourself. The cold water face splash. Every morning, Grandma would cup her hands under the coldest water the tap could produce and splash it generously across her face. She'd gasp a little from the shock, then do it again and again. It sounds almost too simple to work, but that brief cold exposure does something remarkable. It constricts the blood vessels near the surface of your skin, which immediately reduces any redness or puffiness. It literally wakes your skin up. After a splash of cold water, your complexion looks brighter, more alert, more alive. Grandma called it her morning wake-up call, better than coffee for getting the day started right. What made all these treatments truly special wasn't just the ingredients. It was the ritual itself. Grandma understood something we've largely forgotten in our rushed modern lives. The act of slowing down, of taking time to care for yourself, of breathing deeply while chamomile-scented steam rises around you, that relaxation actually improves your skin. Stress hormones wreak havoc on our complexions, causing breakouts, dullness, and premature aging. When Grandma sat you down for these treatments, she was reducing your stress, and that made everything work better. As we wrap up this journey through grandmother's beauty wisdom, let's reflect on what made these simple remedies so special. And there you have it, 25 beauty hacks straight from grandmother's wisdom that still work wonders today. Think about what we've just explored together. These aren't fancy formulas created in laboratories or expensive treatments from high-end spas. These are simple, natural remedies that our grandmothers and their grandmothers discovered through years of trial and error. From the honey face mask that brings that beautiful glow to the cold spoon trick for puffy eyes, from oatmeal soaks that calm irritated skin to rice water rinses that make hair shine like silk. Every single one of these 25 remedies represents generations of women sharing secrets, passing down knowledge, and taking care of each other. Today's beauty industry is worth over $500 billion globally. Yet here's the remarkable truth. Many of the most effective treatments can still be found right in your kitchen pantry, just like grandmother always knew. She didn't need fancy packaging or celebrity endorsements. She had wisdom, and that wisdom has stood the test of time. But these beauty rituals were never just about looking good, were they? They were moments of self-care, of taking time for yourself, of connecting with the women who came before us. When you smooth honey on your face or soak your feet in Epsom salts, you're participating in traditions that stretch back through generations. Which of these 25 hacks do you remember your grandmother using? We'd love to hear your family beauty secrets in the comments below. Thanks for joining us on this trip down memory lane. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and share it with a friend who might remember these beauty secrets. And don't forget to subscribe.